According to a report in the Financial Times, CEO Alex Mashinsky pulled out $10 million right before things hit the fan. Now, this is according to people familiar with the matter. I don't know if this is, I don't know who they spoke to, but some of the skeletons are coming out of the closet, and people are happy to report those at this point in time. So yeah, this one continues the saga of Celsius. It's that black box. It's that thing that we don't really know what was going on in there, and it's not necessarily on-chain. I think it's worth noting that, this isn't a report that's based on on-chain sleuthing. This is just according to sources, so take it with a grain of salt. But it does sort of speak again to the opacity of some of these crypto lending firms. I'm going to toss this down to Will for his initial thoughts on this Mashinsky news.
We threw out the black box last week. It's an onion, right? It's a smelly old onion. Now we have another whiff from this thing that we put back in the fridge. It only gets worse. $10 million before they close the exchange, right? And this is the same person who continued to say that they were for the community, that they were going to help the community out, that they were going to figure out what was best for the community. Well, ends up, no, that's just narcissism. He wanted to get his money out beforehand. Also interesting note that this money, the $10 million that was pulled out, is reportedly used to pay taxes, right? So at the very least, keep Uncle Sam happy, keep yourself out of jail. If you didn't have that money, you wouldn't be able to pay those taxes, and then you'd be in even worse position than before. But this is just right on course for what Mashinsky has done, revealing his character. Throughout the summer, we've seen so many different instances of them trying to be even more vile, I would say, than they have been in the past, like more information coming out about their plans with Celsius, more information about how they're running the exchange, that they've been bankrupt for some time, and they needed to go into Chapter 11 quite a while ago, but refused to do it. It's just more information on top of what we already knew. Honestly, it shouldn't be shocking at this point. Wendy, I want to throw it up to you and get your take.
Well, there's a lot of problematic behavior in this story, and it's a really terrible story. I feel like it just keeps getting worse and worse for Celsius. At least Voyager, there was some sort of closure, but with Celsius, it's like more and more keeps coming out. However, I will say, yay, he paid his taxes. But at the same time, I feel like the way that laws are written and designed, they make it just so hard to do anything, because I feel like obviously, like, he withdrew those funds, he lied, he said that that Celsius was solvent when in fact they weren't. So yes, that was bad, illegal, terrible. But then now they're talking about using that money to pay taxes. So it's like, where do you place the blame? Like, I don't even know. It's just a terrible story. I hope that they are able to successfully reorganize and everybody is made whole, including myself.
I want to do a really quick timeline if we can, just to contextualize things. Jen, I'll throw it over to you right after that. But we know from internal documents that were revealed during Chapter 11 that Celsius was bankrupt or did not have funds necessary to complete its obligations as far back as 2021, the summer of 2021, right? And even further back, there's details that their finances were not in a good state. And then going into May, we had Bitcoin drop, went down quite a lot. That was beginning of the bear market, right? And so I think maybe you could say, oh, he's just selling out whatever Celsius tokens he has, kind of think of it as equity. He's just cashing out. He's being smart. But at the same time, he had to know the internal state of Celsius at that moment, and had to know that they did not have the funds necessary to pay out all the investors' loans that were on the books. And so he was basically just cashing out against everybody else. At the same time, they put out a report a little bit later when they started freezing accounts, saying that they froze accounts with the purpose of making sure that not everyone who was quick at the trigger would get their funds back. They wanted to do an orderly and fair process through Chapter 11. But he skipped the queue, right? He jumped ahead of it by a few weeks. And I think that is that's the worst part of all this, that he jumped ahead of everybody else when nobody else had money because of his own decisions. Jen, I'm going to throw it over to you for your take, though.
Sorry, Control has intervened. That qualifies as a history corner. Let's see it.
Oh, no.
And now, Will's History Corner with Will Foxley.
That is the retroactive Will's History Corner. That was a retroactive deployment of the History Corner way. All right, Jen, take it away.
That was my favorite part of the show. Now I don't even remember what I was going to say. It's funny when Mashinsky stepped down from his CEO role, he said that it was because he was becoming more and more of a distraction to the bankruptcy filings. It's funny to see that he continues to be a distraction as we found out more and more information as to what was going on behind the scenes. I know Celsius recently requested from the bankruptcy court to be able to sell stablecoins so that they could start to kind of settle things and continue operations. And that was rejected because of the opaqueness of the financials of Celsius. And so I think it is just a mess. And I think that we're going to continue to see Mashinsky be a distraction to the bankruptcy filings because he was at the head of this company for so long. And it looks like that rotting onion has been rotting for a while. So we will continue to peel those layers back and maybe get to the bottom center
whatever's
of the
inside
onion.
that onion.
Yeah, get to that part of the onion and we'll know what happened.